Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. I'm Andrew Livingstone and I'm joined by one of our architects, Nathaniel Kaufman. Today we're going to walk you through some of the exciting new features of Gemini Enterprise.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Basically, we're sitting down to discuss bringing the absolute best of Google's AI into your users' day-to-day work. So I always like to start us off with a simple question. What's making our work unnecessarily difficult right now? For me, it's all these siloed applications with their disparate data sources spread all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that we hear when we're speaking to customers. The search fatigue of trying to find documents across the modern enterprise is incredibly time consuming, especially when you consider that most companies now have over 100 applications supporting their business.
Yeah, and that complexity represents a very real challenge. Our goal with Gemini Enterprise is going to be to smash through those silos and bring a comprehensive AI into every single workflow.
So how does Gemini Enterprise actually do that?
Well, we've built a bit of a framework that's going to help show how we bring the best of Google AI to everyone. So first we have the brains. This gives us easy and immediate access to some of Google's most advanced models as selected and enabled by you. Then there's the workbench. You can think of this as your central chat platform and toolkit. It's where employees can build, orchestrate, and use agents that are deployed to them or shared amongst their teams. Next up is your task force. This is a whole suite of specialized agents that are pre-built by Google and third parties. They handle everything from research to development, inter-agent communications, and much more. And all of this is supported on top of your context. This is critical because your AI needs to be grounded in the reality of your own systems and data, wherever that data may live.
And finally, an important and overlooked concept is governance. Gemini's governance model allows you to see all of your agents and the access that they have and the users that have access to it in real time. This allows you to implement controls, ensuring that agents are only provided to those that are authorized to access it. And as we're going to talk about later, Gemini also protects the data layer underneath those agents, ensuring that people only have access to the data that they should have access to.
So let's quickly detail three core pillars of our setup here, because they're really what supports how we'll change things. And so when we talk about shifting to high impact work, we mean automating complex workflows, accelerating insights, and fast-tracking content creation. For creating custom AI, we give you a no-code workbench with tools that connect agents to your reality and a way to safely expand your AI task force. And all of this brings confidence in scaling, because building in Gemini Enterprise means building securely from day one on Google Cloud, where we secure every agent with guardrails, govern your whole task force with centralized controls.
So before looking at Gemini Enterprise, let's take a closer look into each of those areas.
Okay, well, let's talk about that first pillar, where we move from tedious tasks to high impact. First, we start by automating complex workflows. We bring in a diverse suite of AI tools from Google, enable easy development among your own teams, and leverage partner connectors that handle the heavy lifting. Secondly, we'll fundamentally reinvent research. This helps you get answers faster using specialized agents that do deep data analysis, along with powerful tools like NotebookLM. Third, we fast-track content creation. Through a simple Gemini chat experience, embedded agentic assistance, and deep integration to your existing productivity stack, everything speeds up. This is where it gets really exciting because we start putting the power to build AI directly into everyone's hands. You start by creating new agents using a powerful no-code workbench that's called Agent Designer. Basically, anyone can turn their unique expertise into an AI helper. And then once you've built something great, you expand your AI task force for an organization-wide impact by sharing those new solutions directly to the agent gallery.
This is the really exciting part. You're right. It's where you can now have people in your organization building their own agents and then sharing them across departments. And that's where, the governance that we talked about earlier is so important. Now, closely related to that, though, is where are these agents going to get their data? So Gemini Enterprise has the ability to connect to any first-party Google data source and a lot of third-party data sources, being modern CRMs, ERPs, and data warehouses using pre-built connectors. That makes it very easy through a few clicks to authorize a user to be able to query those data sources or build workflows based on that data. When connecting to any of these data sources, Google's model here ensures that the user only has access to the data that they are authorized to see. They do that through OAuth authentication, ensuring that the user is acting as themselves when they're querying or building a workflow based on those downstream applications. There's also been some new exciting developments here with Google supporting bring your own MCP server. Now, this is a separate concept which allows you to now integrate to any external system that supports MCP. This means that if you have shadow IT systems in your environment, so systems that are not necessarily IT owned, but serve important business functions, your users can actually now connect Gemini Enterprise to those systems as well, using the same user-based authentication model, ensuring that they only have access to the data that they see, so that those shadow IT systems can now be used in workflows. And this helps to ensure that you're getting the full value from Gemini Enterprise, not just having it point at enterprise systems that are managed by corporate IT.
Finally, let's talk about that bedrock layer that we mentioned earlier, which is all about being able to secure and scale with confidence, because none of this matters if it's not safe. To ensure security from the very start, we build and store data right out of the gate in a protected environment on Google Cloud's enterprise-grade platform.
Yeah, and this allows us to ensure that the data underpinning all of our AI models is secured. Google Cloud allows us to secure those data in specific data regions to respect sovereign concerns or data residency concerns that many customers have. But in addition, you can use controls to ensure that specific industry standards, whether that's FedRAMP or HIPAA or related industry certifications, are upheld and applied to all of the data. Lastly, Google's also developed model armor to ensure that your agents and the underlying data models are protected from any abuse or inappropriate access.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about our framework, those three main pillars, and what it all means on paper. But what does this look like in the real world? So I'm going to jump us out of these slides now. We're going to walk through a few live scenarios right inside the Gemini Enterprise environment so that you can see firsthand how these agents and tools will help us tackle real-world business challenges.
Let's start off with some foundational work. As the large language model serving as the brain of our AI system, Gemini Enterprise comes with easy access to the latest and best models from Google today, such as Gemini Pro and VO, bringing top-notch innovation to our workplace. But a brainy model is only as useful as the data it connects to. Suppose we come into work on a Monday. Our inbox is overflowing, deadlines are looming, and we aren't sure where to start. Rather than spending an hour battling that analysis paralysis, we can simply ask Gemini Enterprise. Because Gemini Enterprise is connected to our emails, our meeting transcripts, our files, and so much more, it only needs a few seconds to put together our priorities. So here we can see it's gone through and put together a summary based on the emails I received this past weekend, a couple of transcripts if I want to go through and see, get some more details on what they are, as well as put together some priorities for today, so things I can get started on this week. It knows our role and how it fits within the organization. It knows what projects we're working on, when we have deadlines, and what files we have access to. But we don't want to just find information. We want to take action. So let's take it a step further and produce some polished emails, maybe generate some reports, and get started on some presentations. Because Gemini Enterprise easily integrates with some built-in connectors to popular email services such as Google's Gmail or Microsoft Outlook, as well as many of the productivity tools, it can pull and push the content to wherever we need it. So here we can see that it's drafted a bit of an email for our marketing team, as well as started on the layout of that slide deck I asked for. We can easily generate high-quality text, images, and even videos using the latest Gemini models. So we're no longer just searching. We're collaborating with an AI that understands our specific job needs and lets us put our time and focus where it matters most. So in addition to the agents necessary to pull that data, again, our email, our SharePoint, our Google Drive, etc., not to mention any of our CRM or ticketing systems, we can also leverage other AI tools and generate some additional content. Just waiting for it to create a bit of an image here on our title slide. And we can see, there we go. Now let's look at how Gemini Enterprise moves beyond the standard chat and into autonomous workflows using its task force, a library of AI agents, each dedicated to completing tasks. So your task force in Gemini Enterprise comprises different categories of agents. Up here in the top row, you have powerful out-of-the-box agents that are made by Google to deliver value from day one. You also have your agents, those that are created by your users and their teams, as well as a marketplace at the bottom that contains a wide selection of third-party connectors. Back up to the top, though, you'll see the Deep Research Agent. This is a specialized agent for complex workflows that handles the heavy lifting of research for you. It lets you synthesize proprietary reports, custom surveys, and other business data to create in-depth reporting of its own. And it doesn't just give you a summary on a general topic. It delivers those reports on the exact and highly specific topics you're working on. However, for today's data demo, we're going to use another Google-made agent, NotebookLM Enterprise. So why NotebookLM? Well, it's specifically built to act as a subject matter expert that is strictly grounded in the exact documents we give it. This visually proves to our stakeholders that the AI isn't pulling from the open web or hallucinating, and is instead only using our proprietary data. It also includes enterprise compliance features, ensuring that our most sensitive data remains protected. So now imagine we've been asked to compile a massive report. Doing this manually could take days. Instead, we're going to use that pre-built agent and gave it some reports that we received from our CRM team and let it read those so that we know it's looking at information specific to this project. We can then ask it to look over those reports and create some reporting of its own, hopefully to identify some concerns with our European markets. Notice that it isn't just giving us general knowledge. The NotebookLM agent is allowing us to synthesize those proprietary reports, those custom surveys, as well as any other business data we feed it, but to create an in-depth report on the exact topic we're working on. But what if an employee has a highly specific and niche workflow? Traditionally, if an employee faced such a challenge, they couldn't just go to IT and ask for a custom app. That's where the Gemini Enterprise Agent Designer comes in. Gemini Enterprise empowers everyone to build their own no-code agents, easily building custom agents for their specific workflows in Agent Designer using simple drag-and-drop tools. No coding needed. So let's say we're an IT team with a few locations to staff. We don't have any scheduling software, just a spreadsheet. So I can get a working prototype in just a few moments by describing in plain language what I want it to achieve. And there we go. I can now ask and interact with that agent just like any other. So here I'm asking it to create a table showing the employees that are going to work, as well as what that schedule would look like. Hopefully, within a few moments, we'll have our staffing table. Because this agent is connected to our ecosystem of data, it already knows our HR rules, it knows when overtime kicks in, as well as our coverage needs. This is bottom-up innovation, giving every employee the power to automate their own biggest roadblocks. So we've seen how Gemini Enterprise handles your immediate workspace data, as well as custom agents. But to truly transform everyday work across your organization, your AI must break down organizational data silos. So instead of just context switching between apps, Gemini Enterprise acts as a single unified interface. You can securely connect Gemini Enterprise to Google Drive, Microsoft OneDrive, SharePoint, HubSpot, Jira, and many more in just a few clicks, effectively grounding its output in your business data. For today, let's take a look at how it seamlessly connects those dots and across different departmental data sources. So we can search across our business data with a singular prompt to quickly get answers and insights in one place. Here we're asking Gemini to find some files, look at our IT system, and give us an update on some enterprise leads. And there we go. With search grounded in our business data, we get relevant results at our fingertips. Right here, we can see the summary pulled from the marketing brief, check out the status of our IT tracker, as well as surface some deep intelligence on our sales tracker to personalize some outreach campaigns. Whether you're a sales organization unlocking revenue intelligence or a marketing team instantly analyzing global trends, no matter what you do, you're supported with an AI that acts on your behalf across your entire tech stack. Now, seeing it access all this data across your company's portfolio probably brings up a very important question. How do we keep this secure? So let's take a look at the admin and governance controls. So what you're seeing here is a single centralized view of your application, as well as access to all of its underlying agents. You get that centralized visibility, as well as the options to control all of your connectors, user permissions, and policies. Under security, we have a section for model armor. This is built directly into the platform and allows you to proactively screen for malicious and unsafe interactions. Think of model armor as a firewall between your agents and the underlying data supporting them. For organizations with stricter requirements, the Standard and Plus editions can provide even more granular controls over data access and sovereignty with advanced capabilities like VPC service controls, customer managed encryption keys, access transparency, data residency, and many more. This helps you meet strict compliance requirements by supporting your workloads against regulatory requirements such as HIPAA and FedRAMP. Perhaps the most critical governance feature, though, is built into Google's Secure by Design infrastructure. This is your own data, not Google's. So your data, including your prompts, outputs, and training, isn't used to train Google models or models for any other customer. Google never sells your customer data to third parties, and it doesn't use it for advertising.
Thanks for that demo, Nathaniel. It really helped to see the tool in action to understand how it can help solve real business challenges. If you have any questions about Gemini Enterprise or want to start a conversation with us, you can reach out to your account manager or by sending us an email at sales@strataprime.com. We're happy to help you run a Gemini Enterprise deployment for an initial group of users so you can see the value yourself, or if you're ready to move on to an enterprise deployment, we're ready to help there too. Thanks for your time, and we hope you enjoyed our material today.